I took control, toppled abusive dad, destroyed family legacy, and now I hold all the power. I never imagined I'd be the person to say this, but honestly, the thing that eats me up inside is how my entire family just abandoned me when I needed them most. It sounds like a cliché, sad story, but the layers of betrayal, addiction, and cruelty make it a kind of nightmare I can't shake. So here's the backdrop. I grew up in a household where my dad was an absolute tyrant, mentally abusive, manipulative, and into some shady underground drug scene. Not the kind you hear about on the news, but the kind where he'd disappear for days, cooking meth or running pills, leaving me and my younger sister alone to fend for ourselves. My mom was a shell of a person, beaten down and crushed under his thumb. She'd try to protect us at times, but mostly she just enabled him by not leaving. Classic codependency 101, right? Fast forward to my early 20s. By then, I'd been my sister's rock. Got her through high school, even though I was busting my ass working 2 jobs just to keep us in a roof and food. One day, Dad came home high, trashed the living room, and beat Mom so bad she ended up in the hospital for weeks. I called 911, finally snapped. That was my breaking point. I told Mom I was done kowtowing to his madness, and I moved us both out. Now you'd think that would be the end of it, that my family would rally around us. But no, turns out the entire extended family from aunts to cousins sided with Dad, because he's the man of the house, and Mom and I are just being dramatic. Even worse, they started treating me like the black sheep, saying I was just destroying the family's good name because I dared to stand up. The emotional gaslighting was so savage I started questioning my own sanity. But here's where it gets even darker. A few months later, my sister confided that Dad had been grooming her for years, talking about his special favors and pressuring her to do things no 16-year-old should ever face. At first, I couldn't process it. The man who hurt Mom was sexually abusing my sister. It was unfathomable. And worse, Mom just brushed it off, saying he's been through a lot and he wouldn't do that. She literally chose the abuser over us. I spiraled. I was overwhelmed by the hopelessness. It felt like the world was against me. I considered just packing up and disappearing. But then I got angry, really angry. I went to the police. I gathered enough evidence with my sister's hesitant help, and finally Dad was arrested. The family's reaction was icier than the winter winds. It cut us off entirely. Invitations disappeared, texts stopped, and it was like Mom erased me from her life. The last family member to speak to me was my own abusive mother, who emailed me this jewel: "You destroyed the family and our legacy. You broke your sister and made her a victim. I'm ashamed." It was like a knife twisting in my gut.